Hello, I'm back. Reese from the Point Music News podcast here. Had a little break for a little bit, but yeah, we've got a new episode for you. This episode, our special guest is the Letter Elle. She just released a new single called Faithful. Very talented artist and producer, and I really enjoyed this. And she got me tearing up. Well, that sucked a bit, but yeah, you'll see. I hope you enjoy this one. I really enjoyed it. The Letter Elle. Ooh.
Sorry, I'll turn that off.
It's alright. It's a recording anyway. Hello, the Letter Elle. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
That was a hell of an intro. I don't think we could have timed that any better. Wow. Good job.
Sorry.
Notifications off next time. Wow.
I know. I don't know how to mute just this and not the call, but that's okay.
It's fine. How are you? You good?
Fine. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm absolutely knackered, but that's pretty standard for me.
Yeah, right. Fair.
Yeah, pretty fair. We get straight into it. You got something to celebrate because you got a new single out.
I do indeed. Yes, I do. It's called Faithful, and I released it last week. Yeah.
It's cool, man. I like in the whole R&B kind of thing that you're going for here because there's not many artists on the coast and that really do what you do.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad. I like it. I do.
So where's it all come from?
An evolution of my music, I guess. I think I really have grown as an artist, especially in the last couple of years. Like I released an EP when I was like 17, 18, and that was very much like folk rock kind of situation. And I just kept taking on more jazz influences, and I studied production, so now I'm a producer as well, and started playing with like samples and electronics, and kind of end up at this cool jazz fusion indie rock R&B situation. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now.
All right, we'll get into the whole producer thing a little bit later on down the track because I really do want to talk to you because I actually really find that interesting. I mean, there's a few of us that do it. I mean, I've been doing it. Yeah, but let's talk about the single. So I do have the press release here right in front of me. And you know what press releases are like, and you sort of cringe sometimes, and sometimes you're like, yeah, cool. Heavy. A moving track about overcoming doubt and negativity and love, which is pretty much R&B though. That's pretty much what R&B is about.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, what? Talk us through the inspiration behind the song.
So I don't know. I think when I write songs, I don't necessarily know what I'm writing about until I work it out later on. A lot of the time, and that was definitely what happened with this one for sure. It was a song that I really just kind of winged and then worked out what it meant later. So from my understanding, I think to me it means that it's about kind of like myself and my partner. We met when we were quite young, and I think a lot of people kind of like dismissed it as just like, oh yeah, just young fling, whatever, like doesn't matter. But we kind of knew it was going to be more, and we've been together since, so we weren't completely wrong at least. And just the way it kind of was shoved off as just like a phase, and that you should be able to like be young and do all like, I don't know, I guess have as many partners as you want, but we kind of knew that it was going to be a long-term thing. So yeah.
It's pretty full on. I mean, for you guys, I mean, you're right. I actually come from the similar sort of situation as you, where I actually had I'm no longer with that person, but I was like, I'm in my 40s now, but I had a relationship from the age of 18 up until the age of 30 with that one person. So and a lot of people said, no, it's not going to last and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm actually a bad example of it because it didn't last, but what I'm saying...
It lasted a while, like it wasn't...
I'm with the person I'm meant to be with now, right? So that's the thing. But yeah, I do understand where you're coming from in the sense of like the whole like, oh, you're supposed to be young, you're supposed to be like sowing wild oats or whatever that kind of crap is. But
going around.
Don't listen to people. You do what you do.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's no right or wrong way to live your life. So just I don't know, I just think a lot of people dismiss people who are young because they're young, and they're just like, nope, you're wrong. So, yeah.
And then you get to my age and just go, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Now the interesting thing with you, because you've even though you have brought out previously an EP and that sort of stuff like way ago, but this is your new sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've released 2 singles right smack bang in this freaking pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gutsy. A lot of people like have done and released stuff, and basically it was their B-sides or something that they didn't want to release their A game because they're just holding out because, we're going to start gigging again. We're not going to be gigging properly another for 6 months or so. But when you brought out Sunrise, because I did the plug for that one too ages ago, and I went, wow, that's pretty gutsy, like coming out with the debut during this. And then you gone and smashed it, and then gone and bought out this one too. So
thank you.
I guess you didn't want to hang on to it. You just screw it. Let's put it out there.
I just wanted to get it out. I didn't want to, I don't think it's gonna. I don't know. I have a lot of music piled up, so I was like, there's no, all I'm gonna be doing is waiting, and it could be years till everything's back to normal, and we can I don't know. Why wait,
Yeah.
And I kind of thought it was, I felt like it was the right track for the time. And then I was like, well, we'll just back it up. Let's just go again with another one. And I actually think it somehow worked in, both of these singles went a lot better than any of my other, smaller releases have. So I think, it's gone a lot better.
The reason being is that you are not in the whole folk roots category thing. You're not just another singer-songwriter doing folky sort of stuff, which we've all seen. Hello, random person interrupting our conversation.
Oh, sorry,
It's all right. We'll just use that as a change of subject. Ding. All right, let's do this a speed round. What I was saying is that you found your niche, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few artists that have done the same thing. I mean, you look at someone like Ayla, who was seen as a way back when she was a folky kind of person, and then took a little while to actually find her mark, and now she's killing. Well, she's been killing for years, but
totally.
She's found her certain sound because she worked with a producer, because she didn't have the ability that you have. But even someone like Sahara Beck or anything like that, I mean, the same sort of background. So that's a good thing. You got to break out of this whole glut of all these people that are trying to do the same thing, which is, it's brave.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have the guts to do that.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well,
man,
you got it. What did Sunrise got a spin on Triple J, didn't it? Was it on Roots?
It did. Yeah. It was premiered on Roots and All.
Oh, Catchy came in for the goods for you.
Yeah,
hey, that's cool.
That was very exciting.
Has she spun this one yet?
It was on Unearthed, and she's reviewed it.
Yep.
I don't think she's spun this one yet.
Give it time. She will.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you listen to something like Sasquatch, and what you're doing is right up her alley. And have you listened to Sasquatch before?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, this would be right up her. Yeah. Well done.
Thank you.
I had this other thing. Oh, the whole cube effect thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk us through that? Because I know that the Finns, do you know the Finns, I'm assuming? No?
Yes, I do, yeah.
All right, so they were part of the same process too. So were you, did you end up doing a video for this with the cube effect?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk through that experience? Because Mitch was pretty vague with it a little bit.
Yeah, okay. So I think more of what I got, it was great to get a video. Basically, you had 3 hours to film something, and I decided to do a one-shot video just because I thought that was a really good way to know what it was going to look like at the end. Because with people who needed a lot of chopping and changing between, I knew how pressed they were for time because they had 24 people to do, and if they hadn't got it perfect in that small frame of time with editing, there's not much you can do. Whereas with the one shot, I had complete control over the whole thing. I knew what it was going to look like, plus some slight color grading, and that was as crazy as it was going to get. So yeah, so I did a one-shot video, which was cool. It was really fun. But also we've had like awesome online like mentors and sessions. Even with COVID and everything, we did like online sessions with industry professionals. Yeah, it's been really, really so helpful. Like I actually learnt so much. I think this is really silly to say, but I didn't think I was going to get as much out of it as I did, because I'd already done a music degree. I was like, yeah, I think I kind of know what I'm doing, and then I did that, and I was like, no, I don't.
No one in this industry, man.
I have no idea what I'm doing. Clearly,
we're continuously learning stuff, right?
Yeah, I know, which is awesome. It's like why I love the industry. But yeah, it made me really think like, wow, okay, no, still have so much to learn.
So where'd you do your degree? Was that at the con, or did you do that through somewhere else?
I did it at QUT.
Okay, so what in, like in production, or was that in just performance?
So I did a Bachelor of Music and majored in production and performance.
Oh, okay.
So I did a double major.
Yep.
And yeah, so I did the sound production unit and then the performance unit as well. Yeah.
So during that, did you have to produce anyone else, or did you just work on your own material?
I did both. Yeah, I produced some. Like I wanted to produce other people to get more experience, because I was like, I'm always going to be able to produce myself.
Yeah.
But currently, I have the facilities of like the incredible studios they have there, so I'm gonna,
use it
get some awesome musicians in here and practice, like being more of an actual engineer. And so yeah, I produced some random people that I just brought in, and then people from uni, and whole different kind of thing.
That's killer. So
yeah,
I mean, your sound has it is a very produced sound. So how does that translate when you're doing that live with the band?
I think we're starting to really, like in this year, we've definitely refined the live set a lot more, because I think people used to come to our gigs and be like, oh, so you're a rock band, and I'd be like, oh no, kind of, but no. So now I've made production, like I've made an Ableton Live session to use on stage.
Yep.
And I'm triggering things, and I'm live looping, and there's tracks that I've produced to go in to kind of tie it all in and make it work together.
Yep.
So there's something different when it's live. Like we're not just, I'm not just playing a backing track, but there's just that element that kind of makes it all fit, I guess.
It's always a tricky thing, particularly when you've got so many digital devices that could just go wrong in one go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you had a panic moment? Has that come up yet?
I think I've definitely had, because the reason I started using Ableton Live in sets was because of my performance unit. We learned about triggering, looping, and things like that. And yeah, I had some major malfunctions during that. I had the bass of one track come in during another song. It was horrible. It was so bad. But yeah, I survived, so
yeah,
it's okay.
What is it? A fight or flight kind of reflex there. So what did you do?
The thing is, usually I would have the laptop on stage with me, but they were like, oh no, we'll have a sound guy running it off stage.
Ooh.
So I had to run over and be like,
yeah, you would, when you got to put control into someone else's hands. No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I have it with me now. So, but yeah, it was a good learning curve.
So what comprises your band then? So if you're doing a lot of tracks, do you have like a live drummer, or you just?
So I've got live drummer, bass, and then a guitar / synth player.
Okay.
And then I play synth and guitar in some songs as well.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I was confused about that, because I thought you just killed one of my profession, because I'm the bass player. And I thought you just no, don't need bass. It's just running in Ableton. Yeah, fine.
Oh no way! No, I love having the live instruments. I just like to tie them together.
Yeah, no, it makes it a little bit smoother. So you guys running on in-ears and that sort of stuff too?
Yeah, we're getting up to getting that a bit more sorted. My drummer and I have in-ears, but I need to get some more for the other two.
So this is the thing. I've I've got in-ears, but we still in one of my bands that's supposed to use them. We still haven't introduced it yet, and I'm still concerned about it. The isolation kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a process, and it makes your setup a lot more time consuming. Not only getting like your fold back, but your in-ears right, and then all the sends and yeah.
Well, you would be controlling the fold back from from your angle, or are you leaving that in control of the sound engineer?
Well, I send my tracks out via in separate tracks via the interface.
Yep.
Sorry. So I have it all on stage, so I can change it, but I give it to the sound guy because at the end of the day, I can't really tell if it sounds good or not through the fold back unless I started wearing headphones. And even still, I wouldn't, with mixing it with the live elements is not really feasible whilst trying to also be a lead vocalist and instrumentalist. So yeah, so I send it all out to the sound guy to be able to fix on his end.
So therefore, you would obviously be working to click as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got a drummer that likes playing to click?
No. But he does it anyway.
I was going to say, you found a rare one there, mate, because,
Yeah. He doesn't mind it, but I don't think it's his favourite thing. But he likes using the tracks. He thinks it sounds good, but...
Yeah. The constant.
I think he doesn't. Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to not.
Yeah, I find depending on the topic music you're playing. Okay, so one of the bands I'm playing is reggae, and it needs the consistency. There's a lot of stuff happening, and so that drummer, I love him to death, and he plays to click, and he's great to it. But he has we don't have in-ears. He just has his own click thing, and he's worked it out, and it's great.
Yeah.
Whereas another band I'm in, he's like, no way in hell am I playing to click live. Right. And it's a rock band, so I find that click with rock, it just loses all feel.
Yeah, I think with that kind of music, it doesn't really work as well. And we have some tracks that we just do live, totally. Not every single one is to with the tracks, because there's some that I just think sound better without them. They just sound better when you have more of a natural feel.
Yeah. Well, if you got something that's got a lot of stuff working in the background that you want to keep that vibe of what's been recorded in the same place, then fully understandable as to why you'd be using click. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. That's cool.
Yeah.
And you've just announced a run of dates too. Even you can't really do much of a tour, but you've put together a pretty good little one. It is
a mini tour. Yeah.
So what have you got? You got Vinny's Dive?
Yes, I got Vinny's Dive, and I'm playing at I'm setting up at BDJ sessions in Virginia.
Saw that.
I'm using their venue, and we're gonna deck it out to have put on a launch show there, and then finishing off at Flaming Galah in Brisbane.
No, all those venues. Well, actually, I've never done a BDJ one. I've never done one of those. But all the other ones, done. Been there, done that. Flaming Galah's an interesting one.
Yeah, I haven't actually. I've been there, but I haven't played there.
It's fine. I haven't been there in a good 2 years, I would say. I haven't played there that long.
Yeah.
But the sound there's fine. Vinny's Dive I like because it is a dive bar, and I always got a soft spot for dive bars.
Yeah.
But but with the BDJ one, you're teaming up with one of my favorite little songwriters, though.
Yeah.
You're teaming up with Kayla. That's Miss Dora Jackson. Sorry.
Oh yes, yeah. I was like, hang on.
Yeah, who are you thinking of? You should know.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
That'd be a killer little lineup.
Yeah. So I was going to I was planning to have a tour earlier this year before COVID happened, like an actual proper one.
Like the rest of us were.
And I was going to have, I was going to have Dora along for that. And I actually ended up having to cancel it because I lost my voice.
Oh, what?
I hurt my voice. Yeah, so I hurt my voice for a couple months because I was at the end of my degree. I was teaching 4 days a week, playing 5 days a week of gigs, and then also doing uni. So I just completely... I trashed my voice, and it took months to get back. So I had to cancel because of that, because she was meant to play with me at a show up here then. But yeah.
So hold up, like, uh, was it a psychological thing too? Or was it just you just wore it out? Obviously, you don't have nodes or anything because you would have had that operated on. So
Yeah, so basically what happened was I actually went to an ENT and I had a scope done and everything.
hmm
Like, my partner likes to show everyone a video that he got down my throat because they played on a big screen.
oh, brutal.
And I didn't have nodes, but basically if I hadn't got onto it early enough,
They would
like
have
as early as
developed.
I did, it would have evolved to nodules and it would have been really hard to get rid of.
Wow.
But it just required a lot of voice therapy and a lot more vocal rest. And because my live act is very
Vocals.
upbeat, very energetic, a lot of belting.
Mm.
I don't sing quietly, and yeah, so I just had to take all that time off gigging. I had to stop teaching, and yeah, a lot of it was also the way I talk. Like I had to fix the way that I talk, and yeah, not talking with a low larynx and things like that. So it was a big process, but I did a lot of voice therapy and eventually just built my way back up to being well, I think I'm a lot better now because I have had like more intensive speech therapy. I've had
Mm.
voice lessons for years and I'm a teacher, but I haven't ever had like speech therapy. So yeah.
Mate, that's sorry. I'm actually getting a little bit emotional about that shit.
Oh, that's
Um,
okay.
I can't imagine that. Shit, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
No, it's. I just can't imagine me like being a bass player and that sort of stuff. If anything happens to my hands,
Yeah.
I'm stuffed, right? And I
Mhm.
actually, when I was playing in high school, I bent, where's it? I bent these two fingers. I caught a
Mhm.
football backwards, like it was coming that way, and
Yeah.
it bent like that. So,
Right.
um, it actually was helpful because it forced me to learn to use my pinky more, which a
Yeah.
lot of guitarists and bass players, we get lazy and we just rely on the three
Totally.
fingers and not the pinky, right? So my pinky's
Yeah.
actually really strong because I could only play with those fingers there. I was doing the devil horn all the time,
Shit.
basically.
Oh my God.
But it made me learn how to do this really, really quickly and do all that sort of stuff. So I had to rely on that and that.
Mm.
This is still, I don't know if you can see, where's the camera? There. It's still
Yeah.
bent. Yeah,
Yeah, I betcha.
yeah, still bent.
Wow. Yeah.
I could play properly now, it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, but I know that feeling of not being able to play, but man, like, singing's another thing, and you've had to completely
Mm.
retrain. Like, it's weird because I only saw Delta Goodrem with the same shit. Like, did you see that?
Mm.
The
I
video?
actually didn't see that, I don't think.
Yeah, she had an operation on her throat. Like, I'm not a Delta Goodrem fan, don't
Yeah.
okay, but I found the article interesting, and then she put this video up, and I went, "Holy crap!" She actually lost it. It severed a nerve on her tongue,
Mm.
so
Right.
she was speaking like this, and
Oh my God.
yeah, she spent a whole 18 months, I think it was, in speech therapy, retraining her tongue to be able to move up and down and all that sort of stuff. And then she releases a
Yeah.
song and she sings like she normally sings. Again, not a
Yeah.
huge Delta Goodrem fan, but I can't
Yeah.
imagine that happening. And
It
you,
was, yeah, it was pretty scary. And especially when I didn't know what was happening because I didn't have a reason not to go to work and I was teaching so much. I knew that was the reason that I was struggling was because I was teaching constantly.
mm,
The hours were too long. I wasn't getting enough breaks to rest my voice, and that's something that happens a lot in
yep,
education, as I was told by my speech therapist. And I like the wait time to get into an ENT is usually like 3 months.
yep,
So I was just on the phone all day one day, just calling up every single ENT around, being like, "Can you get me in? Like, I can't just chill like this for 3 months, not knowing if I'm going to be able to sing. Like, I don't know if I've got nodules. I don't know if I've completely trashed my voice the rest of my life. Am I going to be able to sing again? I don't know." And so it was really scary. Like, and then you start Googling things and you're down this rabbit hole and you're like, oh my God. But yeah, and you don't know what's right. Like some people are like, oh, just talk quietly, but that's actually worse because what you
you're
need
not
to be doing is
exercising
you're
it.
training the muscle,
Mm-hmm.
not like some people say, oh, completely rest. And it's good to have a bit of rest, but if you rest, it's like if you rest from running for
Yeah.
2 weeks and then go and do a
'Cause
marathon,
you're not
you'll be
gaining anything.
in pain. Yeah. So you need to strengthen the muscle as well. So yeah, it was kind of scary, like not knowing if I would ever get better. And even still, like going back to gigging was like really daunting
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know, I was like, am I just going to trash it again? Am I not going to be able to sing again? But yeah, I'm like I haven't had any problems for a good couple months now, and I've been like able to teach a bit more now, and yeah, so came out on the other side.
Here's a tip for you. You should have that in your press release, mate, because that's way more like interesting and story grabbing, and that's gonna get you.
Yeah, I think it was in my
It
Sunrise.
was in the Sunrise one. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was that while ago for me. So.
No, that's fine. That's not the one that I just released. That's fine. I think it was Sunrise was that was prompted by that because I was forced to literally do not music things, and I've always been like a go person. I know
that feeling.
I'm always working, and I'd like lost my job because I couldn't teach, couldn't sing,
Yep.
couldn't create.
And we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, well, this was before COVID, just before.
Oh.
So I had like pre-COVID.
You got a double whammy right there.
Yeah. So then and then COVID happened and I was like, are you kidding me? I'm going back? Oh, well, at least I can sing now. So
Well, that's it. I mean, did you have to rely on other aspects of your musical abilities? Was it forcing you to just go into your head? So we'll get into the production aspect of it.
Yeah, well, that's why I completely produced and mixed Sunrise.
Cool.
It prompted me to, because I was like, well, I can't sing. I might as well work on being a producer. And so I started writing a beat every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I came up with, like, the first one that I came up with was Sunrise, actually.
Okay.
So it ended up being that. And and then I was like, well, I've got nothing else to do. I might as well have a go at mixing. And I just never really had the confidence to actually release something like that. But it got the best reaction by far out of anything else. So apparently it wasn't that bad. So that's good. Yeah.
I think this track's stronger. In all honesty, I do like Sunrise, but I think this one's just got that sort of like I think the groove's a bit heavier in this one. I mean, I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah, it's definitely a very different tone. It's good to hear because it's one that this one I've grown with for like 3 years, so it's good to know that it's finally paid off.
All right, so we'll get into the whole production aspect of things. All right, so I'm gonna sound outdated and old, I guess, but you don't see as many. Well, growing up with me, you never really saw that many women in sound engineering and production sort of stuff. But now we're seeing it more, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So
a little bit, not much.
You weren't. So there wasn't as many coming through with you when you were doing it.
There was still it was a big thing. Like I remember one of my lecturers, like for my year, he was like, oh my God, there's actually girls in this course now. Like there's actually girls doing this production course. And he was like, and they're actually doing it properly. Like I think a lot of people do the production unit and they just kind of like get by and don't really care. Whereas he was like, oh, there's girls who actually want to be producers. Like that never happens. Like I don't think I've ever been to a studio and there's been a female recording engineer or producer there.
I'd have to agree with you.
I would love to be proven wrong. I would really love to be.
I mean, I've worked with quite a few female engineers that do incredible jobs, but yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I haven't been in a studio where there's been a woman on the desk there, which sucks.
Yeah.
But that's cool. So you're kind of part of the whole trailblazing crew coming through.
I hope so.
But
yeah, it's starting to become more of a thing. Like I think you start seeing more self-produced female artists, and it's something that I did want to challenge myself to do because I was kind of like, oh, I could just not. I would just get someone else to do it. But I was like, no, I want to produce.
Yeah, why not? If you got the ability.
Yeah.
I mean, that's. I mean, I've been playing for 26, 27 years now. It's only in the last year and a half that I actually taught myself how to produce.
Yeah, wow, cool.
Never really gave it any thought. Always thought, you know what, I'll just let someone else do it. I'm just the bass player, man. I've got what I know.
Yeah.
But that's always been drilled in my head. But
yeah.
COVID sort of brought out the creative juices, I guess, because we couldn't do any shit.
Yeah. yeah.
So have you done basically an album?
Not an album. I think I've got a lot of singles and I think I will probably end up compiling them into some sort of EP or something.
Okay.
But I think they're all quite, I don't know. I'm trying to make them all fit together.
So you're right about the whole cohesiveness of it all.
Yeah, like I think I've got some that are quite similar to Sunrise and Faithful, but like this track that I've been working on, I've been collaborating with this guy, and it's like disco gospel stuff.
Okay. That's cool.
Which I'm so excited for, but I don't know if it'll fit in an EP with everything else.
Why not?
So I don't know, it's just very different vibe. But like, I mean, that doesn't matter.
Shouldn't really.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole concept of an album these days is kind of, by the way, the only people that really are into proper albums are usually metalheads.
Yeah, totally.
Just putting it out there. I mean, I'm a metalhead.
Oh, 100%. So yeah.
I mean, I love albums. I love the whole idea of it. But for general music consumption, most people just don't really listen to albums. They just listen to singles. That's why there's a lot of artists that have actually just been releasing single all the way through.
Well, that's kind of where I'm like headspace I am at the moment. I don't know, because I just keep being like, well, I don't know, I'll just release another single because it's ready. But I kind of want to have a bigger project because I like having an overarching like creative thing to strive for, to kind of have like a concept for the whole EP and then make it all kind of somewhat tie in its own way, and then it's like, you know, a larger body of creative work.
Well, you could still release your gospel disco tinged one on as a standalone, and then compile the other ones into an EP if that one doesn't feel like it sits in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like I don't have other things ready to be in the EP. It's just about choosing what's going to be good for it. But I would like to be getting ready for an EP, because I think especially I only took down my old EP not that long ago.
Got the folk kind of one.
Yeah, but I just didn't want it up there anymore. Like it's really nice to listen to, but I listen to it and go, oh, that's nice that I was trying when I was like 16, 17, like go me.
It's an evolution, mate. That's what it is.
Yeah, so I keep it on the SoundCloud, and like if anyone wants one, I'll just give it to them, but just paying for it to be on Spotify, no,
I can understand that. I mean, stick it up on Bandcamp or something like that, where you're not having to pay a fee for it all the time. I completely understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember compiling. This is before I was in I've just joined another band, so this is before I was in this. Yeah, it's not like I haven't got enough to do, right? Yeah, I'm going in the studio tomorrow afternoon, Thursday, Friday, so that's gonna be interesting.
Cool.
Before that, I actually went through, and I think I'm currently in band number 16. So I compiled 13 bands, because I didn't get those last 3, into one SoundCloud stream. I just basically chopped it all into one massive like half-hour song, just as like like a little, I don't know, how would you explain it? Like a sonic press kit, I guess.
Yeah, cool.
Of what songs I've played in, and the evolution of my bass playing going through as well.
Wow.
So just
cool.
Don't ever get rid of your old stuff, because it's kind of interesting to hear how you say the evolution of stuff.
And that was why I didn't want to like just completely get rid of it. I just felt like it was so different that I wanted to have a more accurate representation of my current artist persona on like the big streaming platforms, like on the ones that kind of are a bit more of a professional front, which is why I'm like, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, all the ones I don't have to pay for constantly.
So the new stuff's more TikTok friendly, mate. You can do dancing.
That's what I'm going for. I'm just writing to the TikTokers, 100%.
Until it gets pulled down because of China.
Yeah, I know, right? Any day now.
I think there's another 20 days left, apparently.
Oh, nice. Well, that's good.
According to Trump, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
So, with your production process and your mindset, how do you start a track? So you start with a beat?
Depends. Depends on the day. Sometimes if I've got some chords, well, if I just let me start again.
No,
rewind. I will come up with like the whole thing in my head, like the melody and the chords and how I want it to sound all kind of at once.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just like get that down and then start producing around it. But I like to get some kind of production around it at the same time, like before I keep moving on to the rest of the structure. Like, for example, I'll come up with a chorus and I'll make a beat and everything around that chorus and then make the rest fit around it.
Yep.
So that it's not like my old singer-songwriter kind of thing where I just like write the whole song and then be like, oh yeah, this could have drums, like this could have like, I want that to be integrated into the songwriting.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of my bass and drum parts now are very like syncopated and kind of weird. So that kind of shapes the songwriting as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're a bit like there's a lot of off the beat and like interesting tonalities. So yeah, I think that shapes the songwriting so much that it needs to be implemented earlier now and not just as like, oh yeah, we'll just play the root notes of the chords kind of thing.
It's an interesting going into production aspects. You're not so linear.
Yeah.
Because you just explained that, like as like thinking in the mindset of like when you're doing indie folk sort of stuff, and you just basically it's linear. You just write verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, and then oh yeah, that's good. And you don't give a second thought as to like dynamics, what could be there, what could be pulled out, or anything like that. It's much like writing a press release in a sense too. Is basically how much you got to verbally put down there and then pull out because it's going to be too much.
Yeah.
It's a weird mindset to go into, and also self-editing can be pretty hardcore. So do you have that sort of in the back of your mind, sort of going, oh, it needs this, it needs that, and all of a sudden you just get to a point you go, shit, I've gone and added too much in there?
I think I get like that with mixing, which is why I don't always mix my own songs. Sometimes I just get to a point and I'm like, all right, you finalize the mix. Because like with Sunrise, I was just mixing for days, for so long. And then I got to this point where I was like, okay, I think I'm happy with it. And then I sent it to my friend who's also a producer, and he was like, oh, just change the saturation and the hi-hats. Next minute, I've done 6 hours more of work.
You went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I'm going to leave for the weekend, then I'm going to listen. And I was like, oh my God, it's horrible. And I went back to the demo from the day before and was like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just wasted like 8 hours of my life. But at least I knew that I had gone too far, and I went back to the old one and didn't just like kind of keep trying to fix it, because I know when I've gone too far.
Good.
I can tell. As soon as I started doing it, I was like, this is a mistake.
Yeah. I just started remixing an old track that it was the first track that I produced and mixed on my own, like 18 months ago, and my skill set has changed tenfold, 20-fold since then, as it does. Yeah. And I've gone and listened to it, and I'm just going, geez, I know what I should be doing right now. And like back then, I didn't even bloody quantize the drums back then. I actually just and now I went, I need to go through and quantize and clean up it. And now it sounds like epic. I know how to EQ the vocals properly. I know how to do that sort of stuff. But back then, as you're saying, you don't know. You're one of the first ones to actually say that you actually knew when to stop with your mixing and actually pull back. Because most people that will say that, who are self-mixing, self-producing, self-mixing, they don't. They say it never ends. It never stops. You never finished with it.
Yeah, you have to get to a point where you just gotta. I think getting outside opinions helps. Like not isolating yourself too much and just sending it to people, being like, hey, what do you reckon? Like, I find that helps so much, because otherwise you just like, you'll be sitting in there for 10 hours and you're like, oh my God, it sounds worse than it did in the morning. Like, I've got to keep going and you've got to keep mixing, but you've got to know when to stop. And I think it took me my 3-year uni degree to finally get to that point. Because every time I'd do an assignment and I'd like submit it and be like, oh, this mix was sick, and then I'd get my feedback and then be like, oh God, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Like, no, my mix is horrible. How did I not see this before? But you need to take time to give it a breather, get other people's ears.
Yeah.
Another thing I also that I thought was a great tip was if you get someone in to listen with you there, and if you start being like, oh no, I got to fix this and I got to fix this, I got to fix this, it's not done. But if you just can sit there comfortably and let them listen and be happy with it, you need to stop. You're done.
Oh, that's a handy tip. I know that I sent through tracks like 6 months ago easily, and the tracks have changed since then. To Steve, who is in Dear Doonan, who works at Yamanui, and he actually gave me some really good tips too. So I'm actually working with him this week. That's who we're recording with.
Oh, cool.
So I'm very, very excited to do that because I got a lot of respect for the guy. He's got a good ear. But he was a good one to actually say, you should actually get some parallel compression happening on the vocals there. And bits and pieces with the drums and that sort of stuff, and I just went, okay, never really thought of that because back then I didn't know what the hell parallel compression was. Now.
Yeah. I also find that something that can just like kind of be fun, like, you know, even though I've done like, you know, like I did a degree, but like I just like to keep experimenting with more interesting production techniques. So sometimes like when I'm doing a mix or doing some production for a song, I'll like just look up a random technique and be like, I'm going to learn how to do that. And then I'm going to like use that in my own way in every track. So then I'm at least getting one new tool. Like I'm always learning when I'm mixing, but I'm at least getting one actual new tool with every track. Yeah.
So I like using random sounds. I've been using that, what's it called? It's right. Spitfire Labs.
Yes.
Because there's a train sample on there that I love, so you can actually use it as a percussion. So I've actually used this sample of these trains as a percussive part in a
so
track.
Good.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've got MIDI keyboards and sort of stuff set up as well, and teaching myself all that. But yeah, I love, as you're saying, like you're teaching yourself something new. But I like thinking outside the square. I like thinking of like hearing sounds, and just going, you know what? Shit, I'm going to record that on my phone. I might be able to use that. So I recorded that massive hailstorm that we had here earlier this year or late last year, whatever it was. I recorded that, and that's in the song. You can hear it in the background.
Cool.
Yeah, all that sort of shit. I love that sort of stuff. And even though it's just a layer underneath, and if you just listen to it on your phone, the finished track, or you sort of just streaming it, whatever like that, you probably wouldn't notice it. But if you immerse in it with headphones on, sitting back and listening to it, you can pull it out. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I for a track that I'm working on, the gospel weird one. I actually, in my band rehearsal room, I set up I've got this like retro looking mic. And I set that up because it's like a super cardioid, and I got my band members to just walk around it in a circle, just talking random shit.
So crowd noise, basically.
And I just got layers of it, and I like warped some of the transients, and I got a couple layers, and like I reversed one of them just to sound like it was. I just wanted like noise. Like I just wanted to sound like there were heaps of people around. And I thought that was a fun thing to do. We got a funny video of it, of just us walking around talking about nothing. So yeah.
I spent one night recording hand claps and finger clicks.
Yeah.
And then EQing the shit out of hand claps and layering hand claps and making sure that the hand claps aren't sounding like the other hand claps. So there is some kind of even just smidging them over a little bit in the track just to give it a slight sort of like
more natural sound.
Yeah. Wow. Soundscaping. Hey, guess what? We've gone past 40 minutes. I told you it goes quick.
It does. Hey, so easy to chat.
We'll wrap this up. I'll stand alone. I'll have a quick chat to you after this. But Faithful is out now. I already promoted it, but I'll stick the link in the actual the YouTube clip and that sort of stuff too. And you've got the single launches, so we'll see you at the BDJ. I'll try and get there for that one because it sounds like it's going to be fun.
Awesome, thank you.
September 9th at the
19th, sorry.
19th.
Yes.
Corrected. It'll be in the link. Thanks for the chat, Letter Elle.
No worries. Thank you.
All good. And I've got to find the intro. There it is. Hope you enjoyed that podcast. Very special thanks to Letter Elle for being part of that one. If you have enjoyed this one and haven't seen the other ones in the series, go click on the subscribe button and then go check out the channel. Do appreciate your support. More coming. I've got quite a few actually lined up. So back to it. Thank you for supporting live music, local music, Australian music. Cheers, guys.